Next, we'll bring forward Dustin Wahl.
Well, as Mr. Olson said, my name is Dustin Wahl. I'm in the Dakota Tumbleweeds 4-H Club. I live here in Sioux Falls, and I'm going to be a senior at Sioux Falls Christian this year. Judges, are you ready? In any place, in any time, in the history of mankind, there have been precious few people who can say that they have been more blessed than us, 21st century Americans. We have wealth, we have safety, we have liberty. We have the ability to better our world in instant and lasting ways which would have shocked and inspired our ancestors, even those from only a few generations ago. I think we can all agree that we as Americans have immense power. Indeed, we were born into it. But that power means nothing if we don't weld it with righteous intention. Hello, my name is Dustin Wahl, and in my speech, A City on a Hill, I will tell you about the character that has built us this great nation, and about the principles which each new generation must turn toward to sustain it. John Winthrop, one of the leading Puritans who founded the Massachusetts Bay Colony in colonial America, said to his fellow pilgrims, quote, "We must always consider ourselves to be as a city upon a hill, for the eyes of all people are upon us." What he meant was that upon establishing such a revolutionary new settlement, he and his men had the responsibility to use their power with upright character in a way that bettered the world around them. In 4-H we know something about this, with the Character Counts program to remind us of some basic social principles, the pillars of trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and citizenship. If we as Americans are to use the tools we have been blessed with, whether financial, physical, intellectual, or otherwise, we must never forget these pillars in our dealings with others. We must recognize that as the city on a hill, every move we make contains marginally more weight because of who we are. Now we can understand the consequences here. We can imagine what the world would be like if we were to carelessly squander what we have, if we were to drop our tools of character and live only for ourselves, and we can imagine it because for so many of us, it's true. I, for one, have not always done a good job of being trustworthy, or respectful, or responsible. I'm not always fair, I don't always care, and citizenship has quite often been the furthest thing from my mind. I'm no city on a hill. I'm no shining example of character. But imagine for a moment if I was. More importantly, imagine if you were. Imagine if we all were good examples of character. It's difficult to even comprehend what the world would be like if everyday people just put these 6 simple ideas into practice. Earth would undoubtedly become a much more pleasant place to live. Social and political divisions wouldn't be solved, but they would certainly be soothed. World peace would quickly become an achievable goal rather than just a long-range dream. And in general, we would just be happier people. Now, some people may look at this and call it wishful thinking, which is exactly what it is. I'm not seriously suggesting that it's possible for peace on Earth to be achieved just because a few people in America become more trustworthy or respectful. But we as Americans have to keep in mind what Mr. Winthrop said, that the eyes of all people are upon us. The United States is, to this day, a shining city on the hill to the rest of the world, so why don't we give the rest of the world an example to follow? Here we are born into the land of riches and opportunity. That should certainly add a new load to us for which we should be responsible. The fact is, we as Americans have a duty to employ our power with character. Now there's good news here. Our nation's character has proven itself in the past to be directly proportional to the level of power or gravity which every situation assigns it. Let me explain myself. Look at post-9/11 America. We came together, didn't we? Our country selflessly served those affected by tragedy, and in doing so, utilized the 6 pillars of character flawlessly. Citizens came out of the woodwork to help in whatever way they could, to volunteer or to give time or to give blood, and they didn't care whether that blood was going to a Republican or Democrat, Christian or Muslim. They just wanted to help people. Another example of the principles of American power is our military. The men and women of our armed services have consistently been dedicated to fighting those who harm liberty, and even more dedicated to serving those who need it. There is indeed no better example of caring and citizenship than a soldier who gives his life to save that of a person totally unknown to him. This happens all the time, of course, but one specific instance occurred just a few weeks ago, when Sergeant Dennis Weichel pushed a young Afghan girl from the path of a fast-moving military vehicle. The girl escaped unharmed, but he was hit and killed. This 29-year-old father of 3 posthumously received the Bronze Star, an award to honor the immense character and valor of our troops. Needless to say, he deserved it. To me, Sergeant Weichel's conduct is an example. I wish we all could carry ourselves with the unyielding character that led this great man and so many others like him. Now, of course, we can't all just become members of the armed services, nor should we. But we can do this. We can decide right now to begin accepting the burden which honor has placed on us. To realize that we as Americans have a duty to fulfill. That we will be trustworthy with what we have and respectful to those who don't have it. That we will be responsible with our abilities and fair and caring towards those less able. And that we will perform our task of character as citizens, as honorable representatives of this shining city on a hill, which will continue to bless this world. Thank you.